Organic social media doesn't work anymore. You only need to be doing ads if you want to get leads when it comes to social media these days. Is that right? Welcome to Rocky Mountain Marketing. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Join us as we dive deep with the world's leading digital marketing experts every single Tuesday. It's all about giving you the strategies that are working right now, directly from those who are making an impact. With my 20 years of experience, I'm here to help you navigate the world of digital marketing. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or transform your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started on today's journey to success. Welcome back to another episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Now, for those of you regular listeners, you know I have a social media agency. I specialize in organic social media strategy. Ads, I know how to do them, but they're not our thing anymore. But do you need to be doing ads if you want to have success when it comes to social media? My strategy for social media is all organic. We love the free posts, just putting your brand out there, getting the right followers to come in and having that awareness around you. But is it actually working? Today's guest is Dorien Morin Van Dam, and she also is on the organic social media strategy bandwagon. So if you've been posting on social media without any leads coming in and you haven't been doing ads and you've been saying, well, maybe it's because I need to spend money, listen to today's episode because we are going to give you a full rundown on all things organic social media strategy. And like I said, today's guest is Dorien Morin Van Dam. She is a leading expert in organic social media and content marketing with over 13 years of experience. She's a certified social media marketing manager, an agile marketer, and she is well-versed in the latest techniques and best practices with all things organic social media. So, Dorien, thank you so much for joining me on Rocky Mountain Marketing today.
Thanks for having me, Katie.
So Dorien, we've gotten to know each other through speaking at a lot of the same events. We've seen each other at Social Media Marketing World. We both spoke at Social Media Week Lima. And it's been amazing just being in your sphere. I was recently on your podcast, Strategy Talks. And once you and I sat down, I think it was supposed to be a 10-minute call just to kind of see if there was a good conversation for a potential podcast. It was like an hour later and we were both like, oh my gosh, I have a day to get back to because we dove into social media strategy. And there's so much more to social media than just creating a post and putting something out there. And it's really frustrating as a social media strategist to hear someone say oh, well, my cousin's daughter, she has 15,000 followers on TikTok. So she's just going to do our social media for us. Because there's a whole different ball of wax when you're a business owner trying to use social media organically to get leads.
Well, let me just say that person that has all those followers on TikTok, they're a one-trick pony. Just tell you, most people will know what to do for themselves. They hit on something. They're good at looking either at their data or repeating themselves, and they found something that works. But if you'd ask them to do that for a different company or a different product or a different service, they wouldn't even know how to start. So that's just when you see something like that, it works for them because it's unique, it's a personal brand, and it works. But to translate that to B2C or B2B, that's a whole different ball of wax.
That's a great starting point because posting as an influencer is very different than posting as a business. When you have that, like you said, you're a one-trick pony, maybe you're really good at a certain type of reel or TikTok, or you're only talking about that one thing. But as a business owner, where do you start with a business that says, hey, we have a social media account. It's never done anything for us. Where is your step one into shifting the mindset of posting as an influencer to posting as a business owner?
Step one is a strategy. So I sit down with a business owner, C-suite, whoever, sometimes it's a whole team, and I have a 90-minute questionnaire. And in that questionnaire, the first question I ask is, what are your business goals? And then what are your social media goals? Because number one mistake that people make, social media managers even make, marketers even make, they make up a goal for their client. I've seen it. They make up a goal for their client and then they fulfill that goal, they reach that goal, but it's really not the goal that the client had in mind. I always say business goals dictate marketing goals dictate social media goals. So you have to work backwards if you're doing a social media strategy, and especially organic, which is even one step further. So you have to ask the owner, and they have to be frank with you. What are your business goals? Are you going to sell your business? Are you looking to scale? Do you have a new product coming out this year that I should know about, right? Those are things that have been sprung on me, surprisingly, last minute, even in a strategy or after a strategy was completed. So transparency is important. Let's start with a goal. And once we have specific goals, then I ask about who their ideal customer is and who their best paying customer is and their longest customer. And we try to create a customer avatar. And then part of that strategy, I also do a social media audit, which looks at what they have now that gives you that starting point. And I do a competitors analysis. And I think a competitors analysis, some clients, some business owners feel a little bit worried. I had one that said to me, he said, I don't ever look at my competitors. I don't want to know what they're doing. And I'm like, well, but there's data there that we need. So I will do it. I will look at them and I will tell you what I find, because you find opportunities. When you look at your competitors, you will find opportunities, things that they're leaving because they're not touching. Either they don't have a budget or they don't have the resources. And so if everybody is doing the same thing, you're going to compete against them for sure, just for views on the same topic and keywords. But if you're doing something, maybe they forgot to do Pinterest, or maybe they're not doing YouTube, but maybe they forgot to do shorts. When you do competitors analysis, you find those opportunities. So that's really where I start, having that conversation with a team. I'll do my research and then I bring that back and then say, here's the plan. This is how we can work together. That's really, I think, a good starting point.
I love that you brought up competitors, and especially with Facebook. They're very transparent now. If your competitors are doing ads, I know that this is an organic social media conversation, but if you're looking at your competitors and you say like, okay, well, I'm looking at, let's say you're a realtor and you're looking to see like, okay, well, I've been posting, I've been doing things for what I feel is right. I only reached last week 2,000 people, and I've been following this person and they reached 20,000 people. Well, you can head on over to their account and see like, oh, well, they're running ads. And you can then see like, okay, well, it's apples and oranges right now with what we're doing. I love that you brought up looking at your competitors, because it's not necessarily to say that you're stealing from them, but just to see what it is that they're doing that's working, and how can you replicate that or do something similar for your business?
Well, one of the things that you have to remember, a competitor is somebody who targets the same people. So it's a case study right there, because if it targets the same people, if your plan was to put out webinars and your competitors are putting out webinars and nobody shows up, maybe you shouldn't be doing the webinars. Maybe they're interested in infographics, or maybe they're interested in short form video. So you can learn from the type of content that they're putting out that's doing well. That's a good starting point. I always say you have to test your own audience, but you have to start somewhere. So that's a good starting point. Actually, I'm in the middle of launching a client. We're about 2.5 weeks in. We're literally throwing everything out there. We're doing YouTube shorts and reels and blogs and images, and we're doing everything. I'm keeping very close watch. Every day I'm going to see what's working, what's not. We have AI generated videos. We have video clips. I'm going to be able to see, well, this type works best. We're going to put more effort into that for the next month or the next 2 weeks. You have to test, but where do you start? You start with what the competition's doing, because then you have some, hey, my competition shared an awesome graphic. Let's make a couple of graphics and see if our audience likes them too.
It's so refreshing to talk with somebody that's doing it the right way with a strategy. And that's exactly where I think so many business owners are missing the mark, is they're just creating content to create content, thinking, all right, well, Happy New Year graphic. Here we go. Oh, it only got 2 likes. Well, yeah, because everyone, what is it that makes you different? What is it that's worked for you in the past? And just kind of randomly putting content out there is no different than just pushing out white noise. So how can you stand out from the crowd. It's by testing these different ways, these different platforms with social media strategy, looking at your competitors, trying different times of the day, trying different platforms, trying different mediums on those platforms. Maybe you're doing all reels, maybe you're doing, all carousels, whatever. How important is it for a business owner to track their metrics, look at their insights on a monthly basis? Do you recommend weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly?
If you are doing this on your own as a business owner, if you're listening to this podcast and you're doing this on your own, you need to do this daily. Okay. I'm just going to tell you, if you're putting together content, you need to do it often because you'll see trends, right? If you have somebody working with you, they'll look at it daily and should report to you weekly in the beginning. And then once you have some reports under your belt, you should look at it every bi-weekly, go monthly. The biggest thing that I think, depending on what your goal is, if your goal is more website traffic, which is a huge goal, but that's a great goal to have, because if you don't know this, on the website, you can sell your things. So you want traffic to your website, right? That's where you sell your services, your products. So more traffic to your website automatically is going to eventually turn into more sales. It's just a volume. If you make 3 sales from 1,000 people, you stand to understand and do some math that you might make 6 sales from 2,000. What if you got 10,000 people, visitors? So do that math. That's really what you want to concentrate on. So looking at that data, what is making more traffic come to your website? What is spinning those wheels of all that content? What's actually driving the traffic that then will convert and sell? You have to have that data. And otherwise, you're doing what Katie just said, posting a Happy New Year post, and there's really no call to action. There's really no way to measure any impact. But if you can drive traffic, or if you can have conversations with people, build a community, and then eventually drive traffic to a website, that's really what you want. I have one client whose goal is more website traffic because she owns a law firm. And so more traffic results in more consultations, results in more clients. It's very clear, linear. What we concentrate, her main thing are blogs. And we have put a lot of effort into creating more blogs, publishing more often, using SEO tools. And then we go into the search console and we look at the data and says, what are people searching for? It varies by month because of the season of divorce, because it's a divorce lawyer. January, February are high searches because that's when everybody's done with the holidays and that's what they are looking for. You're seasonal. Every business has a seasonal dip. So you need to look at it often. What should be right about now? She gets a lot of cases of one kind. She might be like, okay, I want the easier cases. Let's blog about these 4 topics. So that's how it works, but it's measurable. We can go look at the console and see how many organic searches we get every month. It's directly related to the blogging that we're doing. The social media at that point for her is to have that social proof and that brand awareness, but it's really the organic traffic to her website, which is all part of this social media, that really drives her sales conversions. But it really is important to have that. I'm kind of leading us into the next topic, maybe, even though this is your podcast, but having that big piece of content, right? I tell my clients, do you want to have a blog? Do you want to have a podcast? Or do you want to do YouTube videos? You have to pick one.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's the whole reason why we launched the podcast division of Next Step Social, is because exactly this, having that long form piece of content, whether you're publishing it weekly, daily, twice a month, monthly, having a longer form piece of content is going to help everything for your business. Like you said, whether it's a blog, a podcast, a YouTube channel, whatever, having that longer form piece of content is going to help you for SEO. It's going to help you for repurposing. It's going to help you with emails. It's going to help you for your social media, because everything's talking for that search term. And I love that you brought up too about how there's seasons. And this is where a lot of what we do at Next Step is a lot of the keyword research. What are people searching for? When you sit down with a client to build out that long form piece of content, whether it's a blog like for your lawyer or whether it's a podcast, when you sit down with a client, how often are you both talking about, okay, this is what people are searching for. How can we create content for it?
I have weekly meetings with my clients. We usually have one new piece of content, and we'll at least once a month we'll look at what's coming up in the meeting. We'll be like, okay, these 4 posts are done. This content, this is how it went. And then we'll look at what's coming. We'll do the search. I use Answer to Public. I love that to search for search terms, keyword search. You can go into Pinterest, see what's trending. You can go into Google to see what's trending. There's all kinds of tools out there. But the best data for you as a business owner is going to be in your Google Analytics. What are people clicking? What do they want more of? And especially when they're on one blog, where else are they going? So say they're reading about how to feed a baby. Are they then going to a blog about the best baby spoons? Are they then going to another blog about something else? Now you know, okay, this potential customer has a young baby, is doing research. What else does somebody like that want to know? You can see what they click through. You create content based on the data that you're reading on what else they might need. And it's really important to link all your big pieces of content, especially on a blog for SEO purpose, that people can actually jump from place to place. Of course, from podcast to podcast is also great. YouTube video is also good, where you can link your YouTube video to your blog and the blog back to the YouTube videos. People can read and see extra information. But that's when you know you're creating content that the user wants, not content that you like to create.
And we'll be right back after this break.
Hey there, Rocky Mountain marketing fans. This is Rich Brooks of the Agents of Change. If you're like me, you're a big fan of Katie Brinkley, which is why I asked her to be part of our first ever Digital Marketing Summit. That's right. I've crowded 30 of today's top digital marketers to present at this virtual event running from April 24th through the 26th, and it's absolutely free to attend. You can watch all 30 sessions live, but if you really want to up your marketing game, be sure to check out our 2 VIP packages. Head on over to theagentsofchange.com/Katie Brinkley 2024 and reserve your spot now. I'll see you at the summit.
Dorien, I love where you just left off, because you said you're creating content that the user wants, not that you want. Oh man, it's such a mindset shift to stop creating content that you want to make. Like, oh, well, I'll just post this. I want to sell more of my course. I want to get more calls. Like, hey, book a call with me. Now is your chance. But people aren't necessarily just going to be like, oh, okay, she said to book a call. I'll book a call. You have to create the content, your avatar that your ideal client wants you to create. And that's such an important mindset shift. How do you help clients? What advice do you have for getting people to start creating content for their avatar and not for themselves?
It's a tough one. The best advice I would have is to show the data. Let's test it. If I create a piece of content that I think will do well for the client, and the client wants me to change the image or the copy, sometimes I'll get pushback from them. I'll say, well, how about we post both? And we'll see how they do. Because sometimes you have to do the testing, the proof's in the pudding. So that data will tell you what they like. Now, an easy way to do this, I know we're talking about organic, an easy way to test things is to run ads. So you can run ad creatives and you can run simultaneously, but in the same time, you can do this organically too. You can change out images. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is creating content that they like as far as graphics or colors or photographs. But you have to remember that it's humans on the other side, especially if it's B2B. I think that's a really hard concept. I work with people that outsource their social media to me. They are a B2B company and they feel like they have to keep up that corporate feel. They don't want their own pictures on there. They don't want their team's pictures. And they just want graphics. I can talk till I'm blue in the face. I'm going to have to show them. I will find ways, like Valentine's Day is like, let's get everybody's picture. Or I said, look, if you don't want to be in it, find a client that can do a client testimonial and we'll get their video or their picture. You're giving me every single picture or video that had a human in it did better. I'm like, yep. Now that human, if you're the human and you're the business owner, that's even better. But if you don't want to be in it as a business owner, you can have teammates, you can have clients, you can have customer testimonials, you could have somebody that works for you, like a teammate who may be installing something or selling something and they're more comfortable on camera. You can start that way. But it's very clear whether you're B2C or B2B that the best content is content that features humans. Surprising.
It's amazing. This is one of the things in a world of AI, you matter more than ever. A person matters more than ever because AI, it is amazing having that buddy, that little robot on my shoulder help me out throughout the day, but it's not going to replace me, at least not yet. It's so important to have a human side of your business and your brand. One of the biggest takeaways I want our listeners from today's episode to go away with is there's a lot of trial and error. There is a strategy involved, and there are things where, hey, there's no copy and paste method for every single business. I have the 4-post strategy, but it's different based on the platform that you're on. It's different. Like maybe the polls aren't working on your LinkedIn. How about we try some videos? It's still the same ideas throughout the posting strategy, but all of it comes down to you and your business. If someone is sitting here and saying, well, this has been great, but I really feel like this sounds like a lot of work. What advice would you give to them if they want to really maximize their organic social and they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed?
All right. I have a couple tips. I think that will help. So think about your 12 months and give each month a theme. That's how I start. I say, okay, February's love. If your birthday's in March, could be March. It could be birthday month or renewal. Maybe you started your business in September. It could be anniversary celebration. Of course, November's Thanksgiving. So you have that. Then each month you're going to subdivide into 4 weeks. I know some months have 5 weeks, but 4 weeks. You're going to do a theme. Say it's love. You can have a video or a blog or a podcast. Things we love, products we love, services we love, teammates we love, clients we love, tools we love. Go on. You figure out what you want to talk about. Now you have a sub theme, and then you can create that long form content, 1 per week. That's all. And then you hire somebody, a team, or you learn how to repurpose. All you need is 1 piece of long form content, and that will generate enough stuff for the rest of the week. Now, you could even do it twice a month. I could say 1 piece of content, long form content, can probably create enough repurposed pieces to do 2 weeks. You could even start out this way, 2 pieces of content. Customers we love, tools we love. Boom. You can do quotes, you can do reels, you can do shorts, you can do graphics, you can upload new pictures and do a link to your blog a couple of times. There are so many different ways you can repurpose that content, but think about it as the bigger picture and give it a theme and then work with the theme. And then the strategy part never changes. It doesn't matter what Instagram does. It doesn't matter what Facebook does. The strategy is you want to drive, for example, if your goal is more people to your website, that's going to be your strategy. Tactics might change. So that's another thing to remember. I think that we get hung up on the tactics. Oh, somebody said I need to be on Pinterest, or somebody said I need to do reels. Those are ways to get more traffic to something. That is not a strategy. Strategy is not, let's produce some reels. That's a tactic to get more views or to get more brand awareness. If you set your strategy at the beginning of a 12-month period, preferably in January, but you can start anytime, you can then work on your tactics and they can change based on different things that happen. But it should be pretty easy. Just think about it like that. A theme per month, break it into a couple of weeks, and then create that long form, and then it's just repurposing.
I love that you talked about themes, because that's really, for the 4-post strategy, it's a theme of the week and you're just talking about the theme 4 different ways. But this is where it's so important for you to know these are the months I'm going to be doing a webinar. These are the months where we're going to have this sale. These are the months that looking at that big picture and sitting down and planning all of that out so that you can have the strategy that supports all of your launches, all of your initiatives. If you take time off in the summer, okay, well, my strategy will be X in the more just brand awareness in the summer. I love that you talked about the themes and really mapping out what the big picture is for that full year. So as we wrap up today's episode, Dorien, I want to ask you, does social media, organic social media, still work for lead gen?
Yes. This is the big debate between salespeople and marketers. I have a wonderful friend who taught me this saying, sales is for sales, marketing is for leads. So marketing is not for sales. So any kind of marketing you do, most of it will result in leads, which then on a website or with a sales team can be converted into sales. But marketers bring the leads to the website. My job is to give you leads, maybe get more email subscribers, maybe drive people to a landing page. But as a marketer, oftentimes, especially a social media marketer, I have no control or little control over a landing page, over the website, over even the sales copy. Those are not things that are in my wheelhouse. I'm doing social. But if I drive traffic there and drive the leads there, it's up to you or your sales team or your website people to convert. So when you work with a team, if you are hiring a social media manager thinking they're going to get you more sales, you're in for a shock. You need a team. If that social media manager says, I can bring you sales, run for the hills. They can give you leads, and social media 100% can give you leads. You can showcase yourself as a trusted expert, as a business owner. If you're willing to be on camera, if you're willing to share your expertise, if you're willing to share your thought process, if you're open and transparent, if you're doing that piece, people will come to you. You can build that community and you can absolutely get leads. Yes.
I love that you shared that. Oh man, it's so true. Like a marketing department is different than a sales department. We can drive the traffic to where you want it to go, but if you don't have a landing page, they're not going to get people signing up. If you have a website that's outdated or slow or doesn't really tell people what's in it for them when they land on it, it's not going to convert. It's so important to have all of these pieces in place and optimize and having those teams, those people with the superpowers, like having a really good UX UI person look at your website, having the SEO optimized on your blog. All of these digital pieces work together in the digital machine. And when everything's working together the right way, it is a very powerful machine for growing your business. Dorien, this has been an absolutely incredible conversation. I'm drinking from the fire hose of organic social media strategy. I love organic. I'm right there with you thinking that this is one of the most cost-effective ways to grow your brand awareness, get new leads, drive traffic. You just need to have a strategy in place.
Yep.
If people want to connect with you, listen to your podcast, Strategy Talks, what's the best way for people to learn more about you and maybe reach out to do some business with you?
Come on over to LinkedIn. That's where I spend most of my time. It used to be Facebook. I was a community manager for a while, spent a lot of time on Facebook as a community manager. I find myself more and more drawn to LinkedIn. I'm very active there. I post a lot of stuff. I'm also interacting with a lot of people. I'm growing my network there. And it's a great place for me to be. If you see my name, Dorien Morin Van Dam, I have orange glasses on. It's a pretty unique name with a unique look. So I think you'll be able to find me and connect with me.
Amazing. Well, Dorien, thank you so much for joining us on Rocky Mountain Marketing today. We had an awesome conversation, and we'll hopefully see you over on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.